afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. It is Monday, September 30th, and you know what that means. It is time for the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, Jeremy Pierce. Check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course the 215 on Twitter. And without further ado, let's get into the news. There is a reason why pro wrestling companies haven't booked the Sphere in Las Vegas to run shows, and it is because, well, it is very, very expensive. The LED ball itself costs $450,000 a day just to run itself, and an actual venue could be anywhere north of $1 million. Now, mind you, certain events do make sense because UFC runs Vegas a lot, and they made $20 million in gate when they ran the Sphere. So we'll see what happens with that. I figure Tony Khan will probably run it before the WWE does. Hikuleo has now been added to the internal NXT roster. Hikuleo is part of the, let's just say, Samoan family. He has spent time in New Japan, and now he as in WWE, he was part of the Guerrillas of Destiny with Tama Tonga and Tangaloa, so I think it's a matter of time before he eventually joins the Bloodline. WWE has issued DMCA takedowns on AEW's Nigel McGuiness video. Don't know why. There is not a single piece of footage that the WWE owns that's in that footage. Period. Why are they doing this? Just to be with the WWE does. It kind of sucks just to ruin some man's career, try to ruin a good moment like that. And Maple League Pro Wrestling has a newest signee, and that would be none other than Mackenzie Mitchell, the former WWE announcer and on-screen talent, who has joined them, and this is very, very good. She's the official backstage correspondent for Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, and yep, Scott D. Moore is coming up with something good. AJ Styles says WWE contract is nearing its expiration. It's either ending at the end of this year or close to the beginning of next year. We will see what goes on with him. Will he resign? Will he go back to TNA? Will he maybe debut in AEW? We don't know, but it's time to use the phenomenal one. SummerSlam 2025 has been announced, and it will be a two-night event at MetLife Stadium in New York City, August 2nd and August 3rd. Yes, I will be there. No questions asked. It is going down. That's a great time to be a professional wrestling fan, man. Saraya has re-signed with AEW. She signed a 1-year contract extension, so now her contract will be extended until September 2025, and I'm happy that she's staying with AEW. They gave her the outlet to wrestle again. They support her. I don't see any downside to this. Meanwhile, Dustin Rhodes, he's expected to sign a new contract, renew up with AEW, even though there is speculation that he could be going to WWE. We'll see what happens with that. Either decision will be very, very good for him. MJF has been cast in the new Happy Gilmore 2 film, which is filming now. The rumor is that he will be playing Adam Sandler's son, so we shall see about that, but this is very, very good. Remember, he's on a quote-unquote injury hiatus after Danny Garcia murdered him. And Swerve Strickland was on The Breakfast Club and talked about the bad for business allegations that WWE did. As you know, we've heard it time and again that WWE were upset about the money that Swerve got from AEW, and Swerve essentially said they saw him being paid above what they perceive his value to be. And now Swerve is in the same pay range as Kazuchika Okada, as Mercedes Moné, and that's very, very good. It's a really good interview to check out on The Breakfast Club. It's really, really solid. WWE should really be ashamed for this one. And people always wonder why AEW does not work smaller arenas. Well, it's very, very simple. Bigger arenas give you better amenities, better accessibility, better parking, better branding, better advertisement. It just works. Yes, it would help that they run a few smaller shows. So stop running the same markets, but you have to run the big venues. NXT on the CW has been listed as TV14. That's very, very interesting. They will be debuting on the CW. Well, guess what? Tomorrow, October 1st. That show should look good. And on the injury side of things, El Hijo del Viking has been cleared for entering action after suffering his injury. Remember, he got hurt back in February of this year, and he's been out for all of that time. He has been cleared. Wardlow is out of action again with the knee injury, and this man cannot just catch a break. AEW has added injury time to Rey Fenix's contract amid the rumors of he and his brother Penta going to WWE, and that's a lot of injury time to be added. So for now, I guess they will be staying in WWE. Thunder Rosa is out with a concussion. She has not been medically cleared, much to the Wrestle Observer. And she called them out for like, yo, stop lying about my health. I am not cleared to wrestle. And an ex-AEW TNT champion has been cleared for in return, and that is none other than Powerhouse. Powerhouse Hobbs is clear. I am ready for this man to return. Well, that is the news, and we shall be right back with the weekend review. All right, let's get into the weekend review. We start off, of course, always with Monday Night Raw, and the show gets a thumbs up for one reason and one reason only. Yeet! We'll get into that a little bit later, but the show opens with Dom and Liv arriving to the arena to get out the lowrider, and as they're walking backstage, well, Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed are fighting, so we are not done with these two, not in the least. Rhea, as we we're in the ring now. Rhea informs Dom and Liv that Dom has always been getting involved in the women's championship matches, so he will be locked in a shark cage above the ring for Rhea and Liv's championship match. This should be good. Bad Blood's looking like a good card. Sami Zayn defeated Ludwig Kaiser, and the Gunther teases having the championship match, the world championship match versus Sami Zayn, but denies him as usual. Xavier Woods tells Kofi that, tensions are high, and Kobe wants to be nostalgic and, bring back, some of that good nudie stuff. And X is like, no, we can't be doing this while we're not on top. American Mate makes fun of them, and then we'll get to that just a little bit later. The Judgment Day complains to Pierce about, the Shark Cage who isn't here, and Ilya chides them for not being able to win without Finn. Dragon Lee then goes and beats Carlito. Guess you can't win without Finn. Karrion Kross still supports Miz and tells him that Braun Strowman was wrong and that monsters come in all shapes and sizes. Kross is doing his best Sean O'Hare impression. Sheamus himself says he is not finished with Pete Dunne. As Miz and Bronson Reed are about to have their match, Braun just comes out and attacks Bronson Reed, and Miz is pissed. Braun hits a suicide dive on both of the men, and now they're fighting in the ring, Bronson and Braun, and double choke slams, tsunamis, and this is not over. They destroy security, and we will be getting a last monster standing match on the following Raw. Ooh, can't wait. Drew McIntyre is in the ring, and he pretty much cuts the same promo that Punk does, and that he'll make Punk suffer in their Hell in a Cell match. Damage Control beat the Unholy Union in a very good tag match. Braun says he will not lose tonight. The Creed brothers beat the New Day after Woods loses it because Chaggy was constantly getting involved in the match, so he just stomps a mud hole, but costs them the match. The LWO tries to apologize to the New Day, and Woods isn't having it, and he's saying, oh, this is a world champion, former world champion, trying to give me advice, same with you and Kofi, and he's just pissed, and Ray challenges him to a match for next week. And in the main event, Yeet Jey Uso defeats Bron Breakker to become the new Intercontinental champion. Over on Dynamite, this is our Grand Slam show. It gets a thumbs up. Nigel McGuiness enters first, and Danielson's music comes on. He doesn't come to the ring, so Nigel wants a count out to victory. Danielson finally comes out to his final countdown theme, and him and Nigel wrestle a standard, just beautiful technical match with Danielson getting the win. Nigel whisper thank you before tapping out. Christian Cage comes out ready to sign the contract for the World Championship match until Kip Sabian takes his pin and chases him, and Christian chases him to the back, who ends up running to the BCC. Hook retains the FTW Championship over Roderick Strong, and then retires it, handing it to his father. The Young Bucks, in a fantastic match, retain the World Tag Team Championships over Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher almost cheated as Don Callis gave him the screwdriver, and there was some trepidation there, and Callis was disappointed that Fletcher didn't do it, and Ospreay was disappointed that Fletcher would consider doing it. The conglomeration hyped the trios match, and Rocky Romero is now part of the conglomeration. Prince Nana is here. He gives an update on Swerve that Swerve is not yet medically cleared to return, but he will be getting ready, coming back to be still the most dangerous man in AEW. But Prince Nana interrupted by none other than MVP, who chides Nana for allowing Bryan Danielson, for allowing Hangman Page to walk freely, and he's putting it all on Nana. Said, "You are a bad manager." And he says, "You know what? Give Swerve my card." Woo! Mariah May retained the women's championship against Yuka Sakazaki in a really solid match. It wasn't nothing special. She continued to attack her after the match until Willow Nightingale made the save. Mina Shirakawa came out and didn't know what to do as she saw her friend not being her friend. Probably getting a tag match, Willow and Yuka versus Mina and Mariah. In the main event, Jon Moxley defeated Darby Allin to take his title shot. This was a crazy fight. They brawled all over the stage, in the ring, and on the floor. It was just bananas. After the match, Danielson comes in to choke Mox with a necktie. So Marina Shafir puts Bryan Danielson in the choke, but she can't stop him. The BCC sends you to try to stop him until Private Party Commander tries to help. Kind of helps. And they get Mox out of the ring, the BCC does, and Danielson tells Mox that he's going to kick his fucking head in. So then we have our main event for Wrestle Dream over on Impact. You got to believe the show gets a fist. In the opening contest, Jordan Grace and her mystery partner, Soroka, defeated Wendy Chu and Rosemary by DQ after Tasha Steelz attacked Jordan Grace during the match. Masha Slamovich made the save. Gia Miller interviews Kaz and says he doesn't believe, and he'll beat Joe Hendry tonight to become the #1 contender. Jonathan Gresham beat Laredo Kid, and we had no sign of the ink gimmick, but there is signs of Gresham being more aggressive during the end of his match. Santana barges to the System's locker room, and a commotion ensues. Zach Wentz and ABC defeated Speedball, Slater, and Kushida. Cody Deaner approached Jake Something backstage, who was lifting weights with Alexander Hammerstone. Jake said he was sick of failure. Deaner said Hammerstone wasn't the right person to listen to, so Hammerstone said they were winners and Deaner was pathetic. And Hammerstone challenged Deaner to a match, who accepted. Debuting the former Xia Li is now Lei Ying Li, and she defeats Tian. I'm so happy. I'm so happy for Xia Li. I've been a big fan of hers. This is great. Slater apologized to Speedball for losing their match. ABC mourns the loss of the tag team titles, but the Hardys approach and says since they beat the System a couple times in a row, they got next. Josh Alexander says he still doesn't believe in Hendry. He calls out Eric and says, thank you for reminding me of who I really am. They hug, but then Alexander attacks him until Steve Macklin came in to help Eric Young, until Sinner and Saint help Alexander. Remember we said about last week? Looks like Alexander got himself a little crew. Santino tells Cardona that he'll face PCO in a Monsters Ball match since Dr. Lando wants to be Santino's assistant while she's out with her, neck injury. Heather Reckless defeated Zaya Brookside. Ash and the concierge were observing on the stage until Heather Reckless made her way to the back, and Ash was unimpressed, but the concierge sees something in her. Joe Hendry in the main event defeated Kaz to become the #1 contender for the World Championship, and I think we might be getting a new World Champion. Over on SmackDown, we opened up with Randy Orton making his way to the ring. Says it feels good to be back. Cody comes out, and Randy essentially says, all right, you teaming with Roman, I don't like it. There really shouldn't be a reason why you're doing this. And Cody's like, he gave me his word, and that's the one thing Roman has. And, he says it won't be a problem. And Randy's like, it won't be a problem unless you make it a problem. So KO comes out to make his, voice clear before he gets to speak, because he hasn't gotten to speak since last week. The Bloodline arrives. Solo tells Cody that, you should team with Roman because you can't count on Randy, you can't count on KO, because we always beat y'all. So it's that simple. And KO's like, shut up, let's fight, tag match. Cody's like, make it a 6-man. KO's like, nah, worry about Roman, me and Randy got this. There's heat, yo. There's tension there. Nia threatens Tiffany as to why they couldn't get the job done last week against Bayley and Naomi. Bayley and Naomi face each other, become the number one contender, and Bayley wins this in a very good match. Andrade backstage tells LA Knight that he lost respect for him after not shaking his hand, and then Melo just snuck LA Knight and tells Andrade, yeah, I got himself for that ass too. Come on. And they have their sixth match, which Carmelo wins after LA Knight tried to get involved to get back at Melo. So this is not over between any of these three men. KO tells Cody not to get involved in the tag match, whereas Randy's like, if you see a 4-2 advantage, help. Michin defeated Piper Niven, getting ready for their for her dumpster match against Chelsea Green next week. Naomi congratulates Bayley on winning, then Tiffany taunts Naomi, so they'll have a fight next week. Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu beat KO and Randy Orton after Cody messed up, causing a slight distraction, and KO was upset about this. Over on Rampage, the House of Black to beat Action Andretti and Lio Rush. Action Andretti was on one. Bull was tripping, just being aggressive, not listening to Lio Rush. After the match, Brody King attacked Action Andretti after Action threw a water bottle at him. Energy is back from her stint in Japan. She looks so much better in the ring, and she ended up defeating Robin Renegade. Konosuke Takeshita defeated Angelico. The Acclaim won a squash match, and they went to crash MXM's fashion show, where MXM tells them to watch the show this Saturday. Collision in the main event, Willow Nightingale defeated Taya Valkyrie. Over on Collision, the show gets a fifth. This was the second half of Grand Slam. Jamie Hayter defeated Saraya in a Saraya rules match. I'm not going over the rules. They were just fun and outlandish. We had a sit-down interview with Ricochet and Will Ospreay, and Ospreay's like, this might be a little jealousy. You know what I mean? I'm here. You've been just coasting for a while. And Ricochet's like, nah, dog. I've done this all around the world. This is going to get good. Ricochet has shown much more personality. He has this freedom. Now, the Learning Tree defeated the Conglomeration in a Tornado tag match, and Jericho says he's motioning for the Ring of Honor World Championship. Brody King squashed Action Andretti. The Righteous and Lance Archer then attacked Top Flight after the match. Jack Perry's open challenge is answered by none other than the Murder Grandpa Minoru Suzuki, but he ends up retaining by winning by count out. Perry continues to attack after the match until Katsuyori Shibata runs him off. Ooh, boy. The BCC retained against Commander Private Party. Will Yuta still struggling with everything that's going on, but he ultimately gets the win for his team and then bails on Pac and Claudio after the match. Hologram wins a 3-match against Dralistico and the Beast Mortos until Roosh, after the match, creates a new LFI with Dralistico and Mortos. Give it to me. Put it in my veins. Lexi Nera interviewed Chris Statlander, and Statlander said she picks her spots. She's been gone, whereas everybody keeps talking about Willow the Loser, and she says every woman in the back should be thanking her, because when you wrestle her, referring to Chris, you either get better or get destroyed. MXM fashion show is of course outlandish, but it's ended up being ruined by their main model, who is actually Daddy Ass. Hangman Page beat Jeff Jarrett in a Lumberjack strap match. This was fun. Jarrett got her licks in, and then Hangman, after the match, hangs Juice Robinson, which is not good. So Juice is going to get a piece of the Hangman in the main event, because Zuchika Okada defeated Sammy Guevara in an eliminator match for the Continental Championship. Our matches of the week from Raw: Creed Brothers versus New Day. We all know how good the Creeds are. Do not forget how good Kofi and X are. Also from Raw, of course, the Intercontinental Championship between Jey Uso and Bron Breakker. From Dynamite, Bryan Danielson versus Nigel McGuinness. And of course, that beautiful, amazing tag team match that makes you remember, the Young Bucks are the fucking Young Bucks. They defended their tag team championship against Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. From SmackDown, Bayley versus Naomi. And of course, from Collision, the Lumberjack strap match between Hangman Page and Jeff Jarrett. Our star of the week, I'm giving it to the debuting Ying Lee. But that is our show. Look up on the screen. Coming up, we've got a list, best Bad Blood matches. We got to talk about it. Mr. McMahon documentary. A couple other things on the books, but we'll get to that later in the week. Check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course the 215 on Twitter. Peace.